Look, it doesn't matter where you are. Hazards are going to find you. They can find you early in the morning when you're making yourself a cup of coffee. Could find you on your way walking to your car to leave to go to work. And when you get to work, the amount of hazards are almost tripled. And it really depends on what your work area looks like, where you are working at, because those that have a nice cushy office job are not exposed to the same kind of hazards that those are that work out in the field. So what do we do when we find these hazards? What do we do when we identify a hazard as we're walking around the workplace? In fact, take a few moments, comment down below, and let me know what you do when you first identify a hazard at work. Do you fix it? Do you tell somebody? Or you just leave it there and then go back to your desk and write an observation about it, and then wait for someone to read the observation and then find time in their busy schedule to go out there and try and fix the issue? A lot of people, they will just write an observation about the hazard. They don't make an attempt to try and correct the hazard or try to find someone to communicate that hazard to in order to get the hazard corrected. So now, since they didn't do anything to correct the hazard, someone can come up behind them and be exposed to that same hazard, and they may not identify it, and then they get injured. And to be quite honest with you, that's just pure laziness. Let's say it was a simple electric cord. A simple electric cord plugged into a grinder. Maybe the work group isn't there at that moment, but it's running through a walkway and it's still plugged into the grinder. Two things that are hazards and can be easily fixed. You unplug the grinder and then nice and neatly coil it up next to the wall or out of the walkway so nobody walking through the walkway trips over it and injures themselves. Or they could unplug the grinder and reroute the cord overhead via S-hooks and then place the plug next to the grinder, not plugged in, but two simple solutions to correcting the same hazard. But I'm sorry, you may not think that that's part of your job. You may not feel entitled to do something like that. You may not feel like it's part of your job description to correct hazards that somebody else left there. Maybe you're a manager, maybe you're a superintendent or a foreman, or just another employee, and you don't feel like, well, I don't really need to be doing that. That is below me. But stuff like that is part of your job. It is expected out of everyone on the work site, everyone on the job site, to, if they identify a hazard, they are to correct the hazard if they have the means and the ability to do so. Now, sometimes we may identify a hazard that we have no idea how to correct. We may not even know what we're looking at, but something looks a little crazy, you would ask a question. But if you identify something that is wrong, if you identify something that you have no ability to correct, then you find someone that is responsible for that area and you communicate it. If your project has a PA system, get on the PA system and call for the work area owner. Get on the radio and call for the foreman. Get someone over there to help fix the issue. You don't just walk away and allow someone to come up behind you and get injured. Because at that point, you would be directly responsible for that person getting injured. Because you identified a hazard and didn't do anything about it. Didn't even tell anybody. And I know it sounds like I'm preaching to you guys. I'm probably, like, it may sound like I'm getting on to you guys for something that you may or may not even do. But for the workplace to be safe, for the workplace to have a positive safety culture, everyone has to get in their head that health and safety is everyone's responsibility. Everyone is responsible for their safety, and whenever they are in control of it, responsible for other people's safety as well. By coaching someone that is doing something that they probably are not supposed to be doing. We are all in this together, working as a team. And the only way that we're going to be truly successful, and the only way that we're going to be successful, the only way that we're going to be able to build a positive safety culture is by looking out for each other. And it starts all the way at the top of the company to all the way down to the field.